the actual writing of the screenplay, and it's time for me to gush a little bit about my new man crush here on Drew Hancock. This is our 17th screenplay, and we've been breaking down some of the titans of the industry. And Drew Hancock is his first at bat, and he hit it over the fence. Now, of course, he's been around the business a long time, and he's no stranger to writing for sure. I enjoy his voice, I enjoy his use of the craft, but his real skill that stands out to me the best here is how he handles exposition. You can imagine in a screenplay like this, there's a tremendous amount of exposition because going in, we don't know anything about this world. We don't have robots. I mean, we can imagine it because we're pretty close to it. But the way the story's laid out, we get reveal after reveal after reveal, where lots of twists here. And just reading so many screenplays, I see where a lot of even professional screenwriters would have stepped into some landmines. I don't think he did. When you go into story exposition, you really have two choices. One is to be really sneaky, where you give the viewer or the reader information and they don't even realize you gave it to them. Or the other is to be really entertaining, where even if you do know you're being told information, you don't care because what you're reading, what you're seeing, well, it's fun and you like it. When Josh reveals to Iris that she's a robot, we could have gotten drenched here with a lot of long, boring explanation where he's lecturing to her. And I do think a lot of screenwriters would have gone that way, not out of laziness, but to further show that this guy's a jerk, to let him just lay it on her. But that's not what Drew Hancock does. He allows us to learn about this guy's character. I mean, it's obvious enough with all the stuff that happens. So the way he handles exposition is with these very quick flashbacks that give us information, bang, 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 but they're funny. And they're a little out of character with the rest of the story. Now, the whole story is funny. It's a dark comedy in a lot of ways, but he really hits the comedy in these flashbacks. So we go to a place, we see something, we learn something, we laugh, we all enjoy each other, and then we go back to this very serious situation. And again, we don't mind it because we're being entertained. On page 33, 34, we could see this is when Josh is telling Iris that she's a robot, so we get these flashbacks. We go back to the supermarket, we get it from a different perspective. Then we're back in Josh's living room and he's booting her up, and it's funny because he's just sitting there waiting, just like if you just bought a new phone and you're just like, God, this is taking forever. And we go back to the supermarket because this is a flashback inside Iris's head while we're all having a flashback inside Josh's head where he's explaining to her what's going on. Well, if you haven't read this or seen this, it probably sounds complicated, but it's not. We're back at Josh's house. He's waving a hand in front of her face. Are you alive in there? That sort of thing. She boots up. They're instantly in love. Then they're in the bedroom having sex. Then bang, you're back at reality where Iris is tied up and it's very tense. So we just had a little break from that to enjoy the comedy. There are so many examples of this in the screenplay. Just to point out another one, I guess, would be 45-46. And this is when we learn that Patrick is a robot, which is a huge middle of the second act twist to the story. And because Patrick and Eli are already funny characters, it would have been easy to show that he was a robot in other ways. Eli's a fast and wild talker, so you could easily reveal to Patrick that he's a robot by Eli messing up in some way and stumbling into the truth. This is when they're arguing over the three-way split versus the four-way split. Eli's saying that Patrick needs a cut, but they all know Patrick doesn't need a cut because he's a robot. But now Eli's mad because they've put him in a position where his robot might find out that he's a robot. So Eli's answer to this is to tell Patrick he's sorry and go in for a kiss. And then he says, Patrick, go to sleep. And that's when, oh, he's a robot too. You may have seen that coming in the film more easily since he's the only one, Patrick, doing the cooking and the cleaning and all that. And he's like too perfect. But in the screenplay, it's not as obvious. And so if you're reading this cold, it's like, oh, okay, another twist.